gentlemen, it gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of the Banking, Financial Services and Insurance Board of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India and Insolvency Professional Agency of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India in today's blended program on the topic Efficacy of IBC, a Case Study. We will join this seminar online as well, since our members, they will be joining throughout the country and across the globe. Today, we are really grateful to have with us as speaker today, CMA Chitrali Goswami Madam. She is the Chief General Manager, Finance and Accounts, ONGC. Thank you, Madam, for your presence today. And also, we are honored to have as our eminent speaker, Dr. Jay Deo Sharma. He is the chairperson, IPA, of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. We welcome both of you, sir and madam. Today, we are also blessed by a galaxy of important personalities of the Institute. We are honored for the presence of our president, sir, respected CMA Vijender Sharma, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your gracious presence today. We also have with us CMA Bishwarup Basu, sir. He is the council member and past president of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. CMA Mahesh Shah, he is the past president of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. CMA Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay, sir. He is the chairman of the BFSIB board of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. CMA Nisha Diwan, madam, she is the CEO, IP of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. CMA Kaushik Banerjee, sir, he is the Honorable Secretary of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. We welcome all of you. So we start the program with the lighting of the lamp. So I will request, madam, our chairman, sir, past president, sir, to please start the program with the lighting of the lamp. And I will also request to play the Institute anthem, please. May I please ask the members to please stand for a couple of minutes as the Institute anthem is being played.
Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmamritam gamaya
Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmamritam gamaya.
Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmamritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you. A huge round of applause, please. Thank you. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, madam. So I would now request Chitrali madam to please come to the dais, and I will also request our chairman sir to please accompany him to the dais, please. I would also request CMA Bishwaru Basu sir, CMA Mahesh Shah sir to please come to the dais. So we have the felicitation program now. So I would request our chairman sir to please felicitate Madam Chitrali Goswami madam with Uttoriyo, please. Thank you, sir. I would also request sir to please felicitate our past president CMA Bishwaru Basu sir with Uttoriyo, please. A round of applause, please. Again, requesting sir to felicitate Mahesh Shah sir with Uttoriyo, please. Requesting CMA Shubhro Michael Gomes sir to please felicitate Chairman sir Chitran Chattopadhyay sir with Uttoriyo, please. Thank you. So I would request sir to felicitate madam with the flower plant. Thank you. So now I would request. Okay, sir. So our past president, CMA Horijuban Banerjee, has just now arrived. So I would request her to please come to the dais, please. Sir, please. Yeah, so requesting sir to please felicitate him with the Uttoriyo. Sir, please. Thank you so much. So I would request to our dignitaries to please take their seats. So I would now request CMA Nisha Diwan Madam. She is the CEO IPA of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India for the introduction of the theme. Madam, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Namaskar and good afternoon, everyone. All the dignitaries joined on the dais, off the dais, online, offline. See, a very warm welcome for this session, or a seminar on efficacy of IBC, a case study. CMA Chitranjan Chattopadhyay, sir, Chairman BFSI Board, CMA Biswaru Basu, sir, past President and Chairman Professional Development and Continuing Education Program Committee. Welcome to CMA Mahesh Shah, sir, past President. CMA Harjiban Banerjee, sir, past President of the Institute. CMA Vijendra Sharma, sir, President of the Institute, present with us in online mode. Very warm welcome to you, sir, for this session. Dr. Jaydev Sharma, chairperson of IPA, ICI, Insolvency Professional Agency of the Institute, Madam CMA Chitrali Goswami, Chief Guest of the Day, CGM F&A of ONGC, our Secretary Sir, CMA Kaushik Banerjee Sir. Good afternoon. It's indeed my pleasure to be part of this seminar on this very apt topic chosen by our BFSI board of the Institute to discuss the efficacy of IBC. Yes, well, it has been now over 6 years of the enactment of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. The code provides for time bound resolution of insolvency among companies and individuals. We all have witnessed that journey of these 6 years has not been a cakewalk for the stakeholders. We all understand that jurisprudence of any legislation takes time to evolve, and IBC was not an exception to it. Interpretation of contentious clauses for corporate insolvency has now little been to some extent these are settled by now. During the course, 4,200 insolvency professionals, individuals has been registered with IBBI, and so far over 30 insolvency professional entities, IPEs. Now IPEs also are contributing to the profession as IPEs. IPs they are also taking up the assignments. So by now 30 IPEs has been registered with IP for IBBI. Further, if we look at the statistics, by now more than 6,199 cases have been admitted under CIRP, Corporate Insolvency Resolution Process, out of which around 611 corporate have landed into resolution and 1901 corporate resulted to liquidation. Besides this, around 1430 corporates have also filed for voluntary liquidation. Having closer look to these statistics, what it shows, average realization has been around 30.4% as against 23% under the previous laws. So here also we could noticeable improvement is there. Realization value is 175.90% of the liquidation value. Average time taken to resolve the cases has been about 87 days, where we still have to work on that. More than 3 lakh crore has been realized so far from the stressed assets. More than 7 lakh crore realized because of impact of IBC. Practically, many cases have been settled before their admission, and it is noteworthy that IBC has changed the credit culture in the country. Today, businesses understands a major challenge which is IBC has instilled a fear in the mind of promoters, as if they default, then they may lose the control of their companies. Another challenge which is the sole authority lies with the committee of creditors to control the IPs or to control the RPs, where there is need for having some sort of code of conduct for a committee of creditors to facilitate them and to improve their effectiveness. The need for R is to enhance this institutional capacity of NCLT benches and bring in more transparency in the selection of resolution professionals, RPs. NCLT and NCLAT is also overburdened with the cases. The processes also involve several stakeholders with competing interest, which further makes resolution complex and time consuming. Moreover, recently several issues have been raised by various stakeholders regarding valuers, with unspecified degrees behind enlisted as registered valuers by IBPI. Such anomalies are noted and which has affected the valuation profession and its credibility. So there are certain challenges and threats also, so which are taken care by IBBI. IBC is a crucial structural reform which, if implemented effectively and in a time bound manner, can produce major gains for the corporate sector and the economy. After all, it has played an undisputable role in the improving India's ease of doing business. Today, India is on 63rd position in ease of doing business. So when we talk about IBC, It's success and cannot be measured by what you recover. If success has to be determined on that basis, then the kind of paradigm shift it has brought in the debtor creditor relationship should be the benchmark. Till this law came, the promoter or a default promoter would tell the banker on its face value, it's your NPA, your problem, you resolve it. But this is not the case anymore. I'm sure with this conscious efforts of all the stakeholders, the IBC would emerge stronger as an instrument for rescuing companies in the distress. I feel that IBC and economic legislation, which being in the evolving stage, must be allowed a certain degree of free play to spread its wings and fly higher. So, with these little words, I would request to proceed for the function for the seminar. We have our learned speakers embracing this today's seminar, and we eagerly look forward to hear from them. Over to Indrakshi, over to you. Thank you so much.
Much, madam. So I would request now our chairman, sir, CMA Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay, sir, chairman of the BFSI board of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, for the welcome address. So over to you.
Namaskar. Very good afternoon to you all. In fact, due to certain issues relating cropped up during our streaming, we had to start it late, for which I beg to be pardoned on behalf of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, BFSI team. Respected chief guest of this occasion, CMA Chitrali Goswami, the Chief General Manager, ONGC, a very proud cost accountant, of course. And since she visited this Kolkata, she just proposed before us that I want to speak on IBC. I thought that a corporate personality like her is interested to speak on IBC, what can be the best example of the versatility of the CMA profession. So, ma'am, I welcome you that you have come over here today. My very respected president of the institute, CMA Vijendra Sharma, who is here in this program. We are really delighted to have his presence. We'll be listening that the first insolvent professionals from the CMA fraternity, CMA Vijendra Sharma, is also with us, who has relentlessly having effort to strengthen the IPA of ICMI in a very robust manner, because he himself is a very seasoned, IPA professional. And we have with us our past president, council member, CMA Vishnu Basu. So thank you that you have made your time to be here. Our past president, evergreen past president, CMA Horijivan Banerjee, and also our very learned CMA past president, CMA Moesha, our former council member, and CMA Abhijit Goswami, all other officials of the institute, and my members over here in this program. I just want to mention before you that many talks we have in mind, but since we are already having, we are delayed by some time, because madam has to also leave. Madam has got some other, assignment already. She has told that after 4:30 I have to leave. So I don't want to come on the way. But only one from the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, I just want to mention especially from the BFSI board, that we are handholding with the IPA. And this program has been in association with IPA, ICAI, ICMAI, because there is a professional development committee which has been formed under the aegis of IPA. We understand that this committee of creditors, debtors, many issues are there. And here we are listening from the even asset reconstruction companies, their issues. And as you know, the Reserve Bank of India has come out with a discussion paper on the stress assets, how to deal with that. And many changes are occurring. So it is required that the institute's main frame should be associated with the IPA. So I understand that this particular program will be very much fruitful to you. Many people have joined online who are here in physically present. I convey my heartfelt thanks that you have made your time here. And I just mentioned one, we maybe want to mention before you. Today is the last day. Already we have told you that that Reserve Bank of India has come out with a robust discussion paper on the expected credit loss mechanism. And I'm telling you that it's going to be a game changer for the whole profession of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, because we have to participate in this process. We are working on that. But I will also request you, please if you have any comments on that, please send us to our BFSI committee, so that by tomorrow by morning we can send it to RBI. Because this in-card loss mechanism to migration from in-card loss mechanism to stress this credit loss expected credit loss mechanism is going to be a game changer. Whatever you have read, whatever you have learned, that is, you have to again unlearn, and you have to go for relearning of the whole asset management system, how the bank will be doing. So here IBC also is coming on the way. IB as a IBC professional, we have to also learn that. With this, I welcome you all, and I request our all our attendees here to kindly have your any questions to Madam. Please raise your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspirational address as always. So I would now request CMA Bishwaru Basu, sir. He is the council member and past president of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, for his address.
A very good afternoon to all of you. Respected CMA Vijender Sharma, President, Institute of Cost Accountants of India. My colleague in the Central Council, Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay, past President Harijibon Banerjee, past President Mahesh Shah, Regional Council members, Central Council members, my professional brothers and sisters, our chief guest of today, CME Chitrali Goswami, Chief General Manager ONGC, my professional brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to be present here today. I appreciate the endeavor taken by the BFSI board to conduct such a program. The basic objective of such program is to imbibe knowledge and wisdom. What is knowledge? Knowledge is power. Knowledge is the summation of creativity, righteousness, and courage. The word courage is very important in our life. One has to be courageous. Now, the cost and management accountants have played a predominant role and have contributed to handle the critical aspects of the insolvency resolution process. This includes assessment of feasibility and viability of the resolution plan, determination of options of restructuring, including change of management or change of product portfolio or the balance sheet. CMAs have the latent skill and diligence to assess the underlying value of any distressed asset and exploring options in rendering the visibility of the value of the asset. The performance of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, a landmark reform executed during the first term of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, has been under intense scrutiny. The code has been mainly criticized on 3 counts. First, there are inordinate delays in the resolution procedure. Second, there has been more liquidations than resolutions. And third, the recovery amounts under IBC are not substantial, making it more of a talking point. I appreciate what BFSI board is doing. And so let us listen to our honorable speakers. And before I put a full stop here, I pay my tribute to Robert Frost. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Thank you very much. I pray to God for your health, happiness and prosperity.
Thank you, sir. I would request now CMA Mahesh Shah, sir. He is the past president of the institute, for his address.
President of the Institute, Mr. Sharma, immediate past President, Mr. Vishwaru Basu, Mr. Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay, chairman and council member, chairman for the committee, council member, other office bearer in the central council, my very senior members I can see here, and in physical form, and many are who are attending, and chief guest and main speaker of the seminar, Madam Chitrali Goswami ji. I mean, it was more of an opportunity when I saw the name that I would be getting some opportunity of getting the maturity and experience of a lady who is there in a public sector undertaking and an odd member. So I decided I must attend this function. Rather, I was confusing the date. So I phoned other day our immediate past president, Mr. Basu Sahib. He said, no, it is on Monday. So I thought it was last Saturday. So having IBC is a one area which Madam Lisa Diwan from Delhi office conveyed some fact and figure. But I can see from the industry point of view, I mean, from the business community point of view, there used to be a time when anybody will come to know, I'm not doing well in my organization, I'm not doing good in my business, I'm industry. And if my friend comes to know, my relative come to know, my in-laws comes to know, this used to be a very, very stigma in the Indian business society across India. But this IBC has brought a kind of mindset. Okay, I played my inning, and if I'm not able to do something, or even I'm doing better, and institutions, another, if I'm defaulted somewhere, and this code is coming, so let it be. So this evolvement of things which has happened, maybe the kind of time frame. Originally, it was fixed 180 days. It become 270 days, but still the things are happening, and which is good for the country, because after yesterday I have played the inning and today I'm not able to do. So let somebody who can do better than me, or if I'm not able to understand, this is a kind of a thing. And on a personal guarantor cases also, there is a surge is going on. So this process of the subject is so good, and country needs because there used to be a time when we say because of certain smaller problem, a manufacturing facilities, a manufacturing capacity is unutilized or it is closed, and the crores of money, tons of resources are get blocked, which is not for the economy, which is not for the country. Now, this process has at least given to the investor, to the banker, to the other people, or to the people, managers, and we professional, an opportunity to what changes we can bring. Well, friends, there's a lot one can go on talking. The IBC and funding is my pet subject, but more than my talking, we are waiting to hear Madam Chitrali ji. And with this note, I'll stop here, and we'll look forward to listen to Chitrali ji. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you, sir. Requesting CMA Hodijibon Banerjee, sir, past president of the institute, for his address.
President of the Institute, Mr. Sharma, former President, immediate past President, Mr. Basu, past President Mohisha, our young former council member, Abhijit Goswami, and the learned speaker, Madam Goswami. I should not, as cost accountant, we should be aware about the cost of the time. So I should not eat away the time that our madam should take in order to make us more learned, more informed about the IBC. As you know, IBC in the institute is taking active part, and I should thank profusely Mr. Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay, who has organized. I have not mentioned his name in my immediate introduction. I wanted to mention his name. He has taken much pain to organize this type of function, and really he should be thankful for that. Rather, I am pained to see that such a small number of presence of cost accountants are there to hear such an important speech, that too from a very important personality of our profession. I feel really, really very sorry about the professionalism of the cost accountants. I think that our students should also come to attend this type of meetings. I will not take much of your time. I hope you will have an enjoyable and educative session afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I would request our President of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, CMA Vijender Sharma, sir, for his address. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. A very, very good afternoon to all of you. The today's chief guest, Madam CMA Chitrali CGM of ONGC. My seniors in the council as a past president, CMA Harijaman Banerjee sir, the past president, CMA Mahesh sir, my colleague in the council, CMA Vishnu Basu, the past president, and CMA Chitan Chakrapadhyay, the chairman of the today's program of BFSIB committee, all the learned ladies and gentlemen. I also acknowledge the presence of Dr. J.D. Sharma, the chairman of ICAI, who is a speaker today. And the topic is so near and dear to me because I'm a hardcore insolvency professional for since 6 years. And I have lot many things to share, but there is a constraint of time, so I'll be just restricted to by some of the comments. Look, it is considered to the GST considered the first reform after the independence. I think the second biggest reform post independence is IBC. It's not only IBC which is a profession, but this is also a backbone for the valuation professional also. When this thing started, the people considered that why should I know about the IBC? It is a matter between the bankers and the company, those who are earning that CD. But later on, the people realized that even not only the bankers, those who lended their money, but the operational creators, those who supply the goods and services are also getting impacted with it. Now, after having the learning of IBC code, now even all the new contracts for operational characters, like any vendors going to supply any material to you, they are putting the inbuilt provision into their contracts. So nowadays, in all the contracts, you will find the IBC provision. So if in case the company go for insolvency, what will be the consequence effect of it? I can recall that we had a program on the institute side for the defense personnel, because defense personnel, their procurement is very, very important. Even they want to have a consultancy, what type of provision the defense should have in their contract, so that they should not have any impact from the essential supplier from the company side. Then it was becoming only a corporate discussion. But the moment we bring in the home buyers, I think everybody, the individual who want to invest a single penny into the buying a loan, buying a home, should know about the IBC. What type of claim, what is your rights, where if you want to invest into some of the property. So everybody need to know about the IBC nowadays. Of course, the role of professional is very well there. We started with the provision of IBC, IRP, that is interim registration professional, then it became registration professional, then liquidation. But this is just a beginning. Nowadays, the discussion point is the RP for the personal guarantor. After that, it will come for the bankruptcy trustee also. So these things are yet to be get activated, and you will mind it for the personal guarantor, individual and proprietary firm, when they will come into laminate, the threshold limit is only 1,000 rupees. It means a person is having the default of 1,000 rupees, he can be bring into the orbit of the bankruptcy. So insolvency and then bankruptcy. Nowadays, even this personal guarantee, because it is the matter being challenged before the Honorable Supreme Court, and it is yet to be decided after the Lalit Kumar matter, Honorable Supreme Court gives some green signal, but in the later cases, there's some more question of arising of question of law. I think Honorable Bench is discussing it, but the moment they decide it, I think there'll be a flood of the personal guarantee to the bankers will be coming back. There was a time when somebody comes to you that, okay, you become my personal guarantor, I want to take some loan, and you sign any document. There was a time when people are suffering. Nowadays, if somebody of relative or family members comes to you, please, that I want to take a loan, you please give me assurance, some sort of security. I think we should have to think twice or thrice, because in case the gentleman not able to repay the loan, all your wealth, credit, whatever you have, everything will go for a fix. From the bank professional point of view, it is not only that if you are practicing actively into the insolvency as a registered professional, But what type of plan we should have, the resolution plans, how to recover the company. Lot many consultancy work is going on. So we cannot restrict the IBC only to the case admitted and case undergoing. There are lot many companies, those who are pursuing to have a sort of consultancy to IBC now. When any resolution application, earlier they were coming only for a company. Now, often lately, some of the people, they were finding, they were interested to have a company, those who were having the huge loss. So that if anybody is having the accumulated loss, after having the acquiring this company, the promoter thinking for the profit making company, how can they make the good use of this accumulated loss also? So it is beyond only the valuation of the fixed assets. This is the strategic decision, what type of company the person should go. So it's a very planned way of taking the company now. Recently there was a dispute, or rather a discussion point among the stakeholders, that how should we have the distribution of the realization onto liquidation under section 53. The waterfall mechanism was there for CIR because the secured financial creditor, then financial creditor, unsecured one, and then the OC was coming. But after this, some judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court, they said that even this government, the taxation department, the sales tax, income tax, they may have the pari passu claim on the secured creditors also. Now, but now this has crossed the borders. And we are very recently, we are going to have, any moment it can come, that we may have to handle the cross-border insolvency also. Because the insolvency is not only the field for the India, it is a mature field for the professional into the developed countries. As you mark my word, in the developed countries, the insolvency is the best remunerated profession in the world. So that type of opportunity is available into this field. And very soon, if we have the cross-border insolvency, I think the cost and management accountant, those who are having the practice into IBC, they have to extend their arms up to the international levels also. Now, recently, as mentioned by Madam Nisha Devan also, that earlier the individual was appointed as an insolvency professional. But recently, they have allowed the IPE, which is a firm of insolvency professional, to act as a as a registration professional to the CD. With this type of amendment, I think it is basically the standardization or a corporatization of the insolvency field. Earlier, it was only one individual person who was getting the business. Now the firm is getting appointed, and the firm is no more a firm of a cost accountant, chartered accountant. It is a very carried forward situation for the multidisciplinary firms, which is a buzzword for everybody. So though we are having some constraint and we are discussing this word of multidisciplinary committee, multidisciplinary partnership firms, with our chartered accountant, company secretaries, government is also having it, and we are also discussing on it. But into insolvency, this is already a reality. Because in IPE, any professional, whether it's a chartered accountant, a cost accountant, a company secretary, advocate, or a banker, or any professional having 15 years experience, qualified the exam and eligible to become insolvency professional, is eligible to become a partner into with you. So the whole world of things are going on. Now there was a time, Madam Chitrali, ma'am is here from ONGC. Ma'am, in 2017, there was incidents happened. The BHEL was, getting a notice from the Honorable NCLT that some operation creator had filed a case and they were not been informed. So the show cause was issued to the BHEL why the case should not be admitted against them. Immediately, they formed a very task force very robustly, and they input all the 15, 14 people of all legal departments sitting how to have this thing, because the law is law. I'm happy and delighted to see now all the public sector companies, they are also taking this IBC very, very seriously, because sooner or later, I think they are also having a lot many vendors. So this is a buzzword, and it is very, very important. I think that today I must congratulate Mr. Niranjan, Mr. Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay for taking a very, very apt subject. And today when we are having very learned speaker, Madam Chitrali Goswami, who herself is from the public sector. So this will be a different dimension, that what is the view of a public sector company toward the IBC, because they are not the bankers, they are not the professionals. They are basically vendors. They are dealing with the vendors, large number of vendors. They are having the different type of arrangement with these suppliers. They lend some money also in some of the projects. So how serious the public sector is, that will give the opportunity to all the landed the audience here today, what type of opportunity are available with IBC. Without taking much of your time, I'm thankful to all these participants and all the speakers, the learned past president, for giving the opportunity with this. Thank you very much. Over to the control. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I consider it as a great privilege to introduce our first eminent speaker for this blended program, Dr. J.D. Sharma, sir. He is the chairperson of the IPA of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Dr. Jaydev Sharma, he is an MCOM, CAIIB, DIM, MBA, LLB, and PhD. He has over 39 plus years in Indian Overseas Bank with exposure in banking and finance, loan recovery, suit filed, accounts, international trade, finance, HR, vigilance, and HR faculty member in IOB's training system for 4.5 years. He was a part-time director on the board of IOB from March 2006 to December 2009 and from May 2013 to May 2016. He was a part-time faculty in monetary theory at Indian Institute of Bankers, Mumbai for one term. He was examiner in the business management at Indian Institute of Bankers, Mumbai for 5 years. He was the member committee on banking and insurance at the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, member International Advisory Board Journal at the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. He gave a forward to monograph on risk-based internal audit of Commercial Bank Institute of Cost Accountants of India. He is the director, IOBOA Academy for Research and Education, Chennai. He has reviewed the book on stock audit in banks published by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. He was a guest lecturer in various institutions of reputed organizations, viz. The Institute of Cost Accountants of India, Institute of Company Secretaries of India, Center for Organizational Development, Hyderabad, Punjab National Bank Staff College, Delhi, and many more. He has been the chief guest honor and panelist at the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, SRM University, Chennai, University of Madras, MT University, Noida, and he has published more than 30 research papers and articles in various national and international journals, including the management. We welcome you, sir. It's really an honor for us, sir, to have you with us today. So over to now, J.D. Sharma, sir, for his address.
Thank you very much. Respected President of the Institute, CMA Vijendra Sharma ji, Chitranjan Da, the Chairman of BFSI, Institute of Cost Accountant, other distinguished speakers, and my dear learned participants in this seminar. It gives me immense pleasure to participate in this very valuable program being organized by Institute of Cost Accountants of India and IPA for the benefit of insolvency professionals. In fact, the advent of IBC had been a landmark decision by the government of India way back in 2016. And from 2016 onwards, the law has been evolving very dynamically. It has seen a lot of amendments, need-based amendments from time to time, depending on the issues being raised by the participants in ecosystem, the stakeholders, and even based on the issues settled by Supreme Court of India. Coming to the topic of today's seminar, that is the efficacy of IBC. I believe that efficacy of any issue or any measure can be evaluated only on the basis of the attainment of goals set under that. So when it comes to efficacy of IBC, we need to have a look at the objectives of IBC. So the main objective of IBC was to reorganize the corporate debtors, restructure them, and there were other issues, other objectives like recovery of corporate dues, the continuation of the corporate debtors to ensure that job losses are minimized, and to balance the interest of different stakeholders who are part of the ecosystem of IBC. When we look into those objectives and the level of attainment, I would like to give my views on this, that as far as reorganizing and restructuring the corporate debtors is concerned, the IBC law has fairly succeeded, because many companies, many corporate debtors have seen resolution. Though a larger number of corporate debtors have gone into liquidation proceedings, but we should not undermine the fact that the corporate debtors which are going towards liquidation, they were already facing cases under BIFR for winding up, or different other legislations available in the country for winding up or liquidation. So those things continue to be under that route. Resolution has been little more than 30% of the cases. Rest of the cases are either pending or already have gone into liquidation route. So 30% cannot be considered a very good success rate to ensure that corporate debtor continues to be in business and continues to take care of the interest of different stakeholders who are associated with it. But in terms of recovery of creditors' dues or operational creditors' dues or government tax and all that, it's quite remarkable, because before IBC also, the creditors had the mechanism to recover their dues, and such mechanisms were DIRT, DRT, that is Debt Recovery Tribunal, Sarfasi Act, the Lok Adalats, out of court settlements and all that. And under those routes, the recovery was very minimal. The highest in the older mechanism was under Sarfasi, which was around 13.5% or so. When it came to DRT, where large number of accounts were referred to, the recovery was hardly 5-6%. And same was the case with Lok Adalats. Lok Adalats also 4-5% recovery was there. Now, keeping that on one hand, when we see what is the ratio of recovery of corporate dues by the creditors, it's quite substantial. Started with hardly 4.7% in the year 2017-18, that is the beginning, and then going up to 33% in 2019 and to 42.5% in 2020. So it was quite a progress over the then existing mechanism available to the creditors for recovery. Now, against that, we were affected globally by the pandemic. Coronavirus affected not only the human beings, but also the trade and industry. Things practically came to halt when most of the countries in the world were under strict lockdown. Even in India, lockdown continues for quite some time. Even the cases which were to be filed before NCLT for resolution of corporate debts were postponed, suspended for quite some time. And functioning of NCLT was also affected due to pandemic. As a result, the subsequent years, say 21 and 22, saw the decline in recovery percentage of corporate dues. And it came down to 32%. And in 2023, say as on September, it has come down to 23.7%. So there is drastic reduction in this. But all said and done, cumulative recovery still has been in the range of 30.18% of total corporate dues. And even that, compared to the recovery in earlier mechanism, is quite substantial. It's almost 3 times of what corporate debtors were able to give back to the creditors. So on this parameter, I would rate that IBC has been quite successful in achieving the recovery rate. Now, second aspect, which is also equally important, is ensuring resolution of corporate insolvency in a time-bound manner. Now, what is the time stipulated in IBC? It is basically 180 days. Then one extension up to 90 days is permissible. So it takes us to 270 days. And then 60 more days have been provided to meet the eventualities of judicial intervention. So overall limit for resolution of corporate insolvency within IBC framework is 330 days. Now, against the 330 days, let us see the actuals, how we have been faring as part of ecosystem of IBC to resolve the insolvency in a time-bound manner. The first year, that is 17-18, saw the resolution taking place in 230 days, quite well within the stipulated parameters for ensuring insolvency resolution. In next year, it went up then 526 days, and then for 2023, the number of days which are taken for insolvency resolution has crossed 600 days. Now it is 679 days. Now 679 days as against the stipulated timeline of 330 days is not a very rosy picture. It comes to about 1.8 times of the permissible time limit for resolution of insolvency. But when we see the earlier regime, how it was faring, through DRT when insolvency resolution was taking place, the average time taken before introduction of IBC was 4.7 years, average time taken. Today, we are not even half of that in the latest year, that is September 2022. But when it comes to average time taken so far, that average time taken was 4 years, 7 months. So if average time taken under IBC regime for insolvency resolution, it comes to 473 days, that is little over a year. So little over a year compared to 4 years, 7 months, I think we have on this parameter also fared very well as a part of IBC ecosystem in ensuring a time-bound resolution. Third parameter I would rate is the improvement in credit culture. How the corporate debtors have been behaving earlier and how they are behaving post implementation of IBC 2016. It's quite an interesting story. In old regime, there used to be a principle of debtors in control. That is, the corporate debtor used to control its business operations even after the account slips into non-performing assets. But IBC 2016 brought about a drastic change by making it from debtors under control to creditors, that is debtors under possession to creditors under control. So the company which used to be in possession of debtors earlier, even after account slips into NP and proceedings for insolvency started, now the IBC provides that company will come under the controls of creditors. Now, fear of losing business, fear of losing control over their corporate entity has instilled a sense of fear among the corporate debtors. As a result, they are more keen to ensure that they don't slip into NPAs, they don't lend up before NCLT, they don't come under the umbrella and ambit of IBC 2016 because they will lose control of their business to creditors. Creditors will be controlling it through their insolvency professionals, resolution professionals, and their company's board will be suspended. So this kind of mechanism, which is inbuilt in IBC, has been instrumental in ensuring that there is remarkable improvement in credit culture. The slippage of advances of the creditors, financial institutions, and banks have improved a lot. So this is a very major gain, I consider, by implementation of IBC 2016. Now, coming back to the recovery rate, let us understand that when first year recovery was very, very minimal, 4.7% of total dues, the haircut was on very high side. But progressively it improved up to March 2020, and then again started declining. Now, what were the major causes for improvement in recovery rate? I understand that few major corporate debtors saw fantastic recovery as compared to the other cases. The important cases where recovery was quite significant is SR Steel, where recovery was more than 84% of the dues. Then Bhushan Steel, where recovery was more than 64% of the dues. Then Diwan Housing and Finance Limited, which saw a recovery of almost 43%, and then Jyoti Infrastructure, Jyoti Structures. Jyoti Structures saw a recovery of 52%. Not only the recovery rate was high in these few big accounts, the amounts involved were also substantial. These two factors, the high recovery rate and amount in these accounts being substantial, ensured that average recovery rate was quite good. And this gave confidence to the bankers that going to IBC can ensure better recovery rate as compared to going to DRT or following other routes like Sarfasi, Lok Adalat, and out of court settlement. But
Dr. Sama, if you just shorten, because Madam is on the, she is in hurry to leave.
Okay, I'll do that. So there are other smaller cases which still go through these routes, and they are not factored into the recovery rate which is taking place through IBC ecosystem. So on these parameters, I believe that IBC has played very important role, which is also indicated by the fact that the ease of doing business, which encourages investments in the country, improved substantially in case of India. The World Bank ranking of ease of doing business, which was 130th place for India, has improved to 63, which is substantial by any standard. Then how to make it more effective, how to enhance the efficacy. The recent provisions of insertion of Section 12A into IBC, where withdrawal of MSME cases is permissible. The upcoming measures like cross-border insolvency resolution, the personal guarantors cases, trustees cases, and a host of things which are in offing, I think will go a long way to enhance the efficacy of IBC mechanism in the financial system. So I am optimistic about further enhancement in efficacy of IBC 2016, and with the cooperation of all the stakeholders and with the commitment exhibited by insolvency professionals. I have very high regard for insolvency professionals for simple reason that they have largely been responsible for recovering almost 1.8 times of liquidation value. It's very important. Where valuers say that this is the 1 rupee is the liquidation value, our insolvency professionals have succeeded in recovering 1 rupee 8 paisa as against 1 rupee liquidation value. So kudos to insolvency professionals, the resolution professionals, for ensuring the credibility of the institution of insolvency professionals, and I'm sure the way they have shown the commitment and dedication to the profession, they will be able to continue to earn the good name in ecosystem and ensure that all the stakeholders are benefited by maximization of asset value of realizable assets. With these few words, I thank the organizers to have given me an opportunity to share some of my thoughts on the issue, and special thanks to Chitada for organizing such a relevant program for benefit of insolvency professionals. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So I would now request our chairman, sir, CMA Chitraranjan Chattopadhyay, sir, to introduce our second eminent speaker, CMA Chitrali Goswami, madam, Chief General Manager, Finance and Accounts, ONGC.
So this now we have learned from very esteemed, learned IBC professionals, IPA. Our president has spoken. Our chairman, managing director, she has spoken from IPA. Dr. J.D. Sharma. Now we'll be listening from such a personality because I have come again here just to tell you that she'll be presenting certain case study. One case study she'll be presenting, which may be another facet, other side of the IBC. So I thought that before leaving her, you will be all listening to him from our seats there. Chitrali Goswami is Chief General Manager, Finance and Accounts in Oil and Natural Gas Corporation Limited, ONGC. She is the head finance for all onshore engineering services of ONGC across the country. She is also holding a coveted position of being advisor finance to the top management onshore of ONGC and its positions at New Delhi. She has come all the way from New Delhi. She is an esteemed fellow member of the institute and a proud CMA. When I talk to him, she tells that I feel proud to be a CMA. Big hands to ma'am that you have given this. Your esteem value for our profession is in such a height, and has published multiple articles in well-known business and management journals. She has been an esteemed speaker in various national and international conferences and a faculty in the Institute of Advanced Studies, Indraprastha University, Delhi. Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Bangalore, to name a few. Besides being a regular faculty to institutes Mumbai and Guwahati chapter, she has been very much acquainted personality in Guwahati and Mumbai chapter. With her vast professional experience, she has been taking lectures and webinars on various topics relevant to the CMAs and other finance professionals. Qualified with multiple professional degrees, Chitrali is the first woman to pursue ICMA course in the Northeast India. That's a great thing that he's the first personality. And the legendary chairman and managing director of ONGC, a great visionary, let Subir Raha accredited Chitrali as a woman of substance. She has received number of awards and accolades in her profession, who has taught others. Now he will be teaching us that as a public sector servant, how they are looking to this IBA. As my president just told that she is also looking for the deliberations of madam, how they are looking this IBC as in their organizations. So thank you, madam. You are here. Your now stage is for you. We shall all go there and.
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে তাহলে আমি কোথায় প্রেজেন্টেশন কোথায় ওকে 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 Namaskar. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is my proud privilege to address all of you, very, very learned professional colleagues, seniors from this very hall of Eastern India Regional Council, which must have hosted so many learned speakers so far. Respected President Sir, Vijayendra Sharma ji, respected our past presidents, Vishuddha Mahesh Shah sir, Banerjee sir, respected Chair Upadhyay for this organization, that is BFSI, I believe, yes. Rakesh Bhalla ji, Nuan madam, Mr. Kaushik Banerjee, and all seniors whose name I must have failed to take, who have joined me online and offline. A warm welcome to you, and I pay my regards to all of you for what you are today. You have already heard many of the experts who are much more hardcore into this area than myself. I'm you can say, onlooker to this topic because I don't practice. I'm not a practicer CMA, nor am I a practicing IP professional. But then I am a part of public. I'm also part of public sector. I am part of consumers. The much envisioned act which came across. I really feel, after having studied few of the glaring cases of both success and not so much success, I feel I must study and must deliberate, must ignite the minds of the IP professionals at least, my side of story, and the people whom I may represent, that is everyone else other than the IP professionals. So I today speak on behalf of all of you who are not into this profession, who are not looking at it. I would just share my presentation and start it. My job has been made much easier by my previous speakers, and especially our President Sir, Vijayendra Sharma ji, and Mr. J.D. Sharma. And of course, in the beginning, Neha Madam. So my job has been really, really made easy by all of your speeches. One second, where is your mouse? Mouse. Okay. So all of you can see the screen, I'm sure. As the theme has been well explained today in the beginning of this session, Efficacy of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, an interim evaluation, I call it an interim evaluation of the process. I'm not talking about the code per se, but the process with reference to a coin and young CMAs who may have joined. I've just presented this slide. You can see the IBC code was envisaged of legislation that aims at speedy resolution of corporate insolvency sector. When in the regime of present government, this was taken up as a landmark law. So at the time, of course, it was extremely enthusiastic and the whole industry was very much enthusiastic. However, over the period when it was getting implemented, we could see some of the difficulties, some of the challenges, some of the loopholes, shortcomings, and also the benefits of this law. So CIRP, you are all aware, it is the process made. And I remember the BIFR time to tell you, they are the adjudicating authority. So far as IBC is concerned, our president was talking how a public sector person is interested. Sir, a public sector has, and that too as big as ONGC, it's a huge, huge number. They themselves become consumers. Of course, I have seen, as I said, a public sector who was dooming, for whom I had gone to BIFR. I have seen a public sector where I worked and I could turn around. They were just about to doom, but as soon as I joined, thanks to CMA Institute, very proudly I would say I was a fresh graduate from the institute and I just took on. I couldn't see that the salaries used to be paid only after myself, that if I cannot pay the salary at first, I'm not here to stay. I'm not the suitable person. Why I'm saying this? Not to encourage all young CMAs. You take on and you can do it. First month, I paid on first of the next month. Second month, the same month. And the legacy I continued for 8 long years. By the time the company employees associations, they started calling me Lakshmi Goswami, because they had not seen money for six months and they were all in debt personally. So that company I could turn around. That is another story. Sometime later or some other day I would narrate if anybody wants to know. So I saw a company already in BIFR. I saw a company which was just going to be in BIFR. And I am here in a company which is the highest profit making PSU of the country and the largest PSU of the country. And once it had become the #1 ENP company of the world. Having seen all these, if you ask ONGC may not be much interested to know what is IPC. But if you ask a professional working there who may have risen from a company that was being doomed, a company that was to be turned around, and company which needs to sustain yourself for a long time to come in the days of renewals, it may be interesting for all the professionals working in all public sector. Of fair value. Now, the haircut of the creditors relative to their fair value of asset was less than 16%, while relative to their admitted claims is around 69%. The IBBI data says that the haircut is 69% in 612 cases under IBC for the banks,
However, this is around 17% when you consider the relative amount for the fair value of the asset. In 517 cases, creditors realized 2.35 trillion, where the total value of the claim stood at 7.67 trillion. When compared to the liquidation value, it is 1.31 trillion. The realization stands at 179%. However, there is no provision of benchmark for the quantum of haircuts in the resolution plan under the code. Fair value on arm's length based value. So while it's very banks, if it is very good to give reports of the IB, the authorities who are doing the resolution in the country, but we have not seen the masked word arm's length, the market value of where we are talking about the 69% of the market value and all so on. And these kind of a transaction, if had it been so, then only these figures are there. They're not the representative of the real market value. So this is one thought I leave with you. Have we achieved this much? Or are we to actually go deeper and remove the mask? After COVID, we have all removed the mask. Let us remove the mask of the IBC. So as all my learned speakers, including our president, said, the top reasons have been delay, cost, because time has cost. As owing to the minute I don't leave a loss to the debtor in running as a going concern, loss to all stakeholders, including banks, financial. This is another perspective I wanted to give. As you already know, 330 days are the time-bound period without including all extension taken for legal cases has been prescribed by under IBC. But as my previous speakers have also said, the time 100 days, 500 days, look at this table now. Some of the cases have been mentioned. This table is quite interesting. It gives a positive picture, no doubt about it. But if you see the time, 330 days. Something started in 2017, ended in 19. Something started in 2018, ended in 20, and so on. Now, present curriculum also in the institute, which I have not kept it. Know everything about IBC, what a book can give you. Now I go directly to this landmark case, which instead of 330 days, it has taken 2000 days and unresolved. We don't talk about such cases. The Jayaprakash Group started its Switch Town City project at Noida and started taking bookings around 2009 and 2010. In this large housing township project, 2 subsidiary companies of Jayaprakash Group were involved, namely Jayaprakash Associates Limited, JEL, which issued the letters of allotment to home buyers, and the JP, who is JIL, who received the payments in its bank account from the home buyers. The group collected about 25,000 crore rupees from around 20,000 home buyers with a promise to hand over 2013. So there is JEL and JIL, and as I love, so Jekyll Jill are brothers, not lovers. They are not friends. They are brothers. And they both belong to the same parent. So whether it is Jack or Jill, that is Jell or Jill, matter is same. Till date, after 13 years from the booking, the project remains incomplete with 99% stoppage of work, bringing the entire project into a complete halt since last 9 years. The skeleton of the housing towers have been built Why I'm giving you the background, you'll be able to understand what it is. The skeletal, but to no avail to the home buyers, as they are not livable. It is alleged that the funds of Wishtown City project was diverted to their other flagship projects such as Formula One Racing Center at Noida by JP Group. Many of you have been frequenting to smoother the Formula Race Center. That much rougher is the home buyers project. The expressway goes this way, and on the right hand side, the home buyer project, which is complete in skeleton, and it's wearing out because it is already built. The superstructure has been built 13 years ago or 10 years ago, say. So it's not a pleasure to drive through the expressway while looking at that. At least for the IP professionals, it should not be. It certainly has, and not a real insolvency caused by red bottom lines as such. This I want to drive home. It is a self-mandated insolvency. Should we burden NCLT with the self-mandated insolvency? And waiting for justice. But this case, which is self-mandated insolvency, has taken 2,000 days of NCLT. So I leave you with this thought at this moment. Now, what is the case? So in February 2016, amidst Jack and Jill owed IDBI 261 crores, which Jill could not pay back. In March 2016, a negotiation was held between Jill and IDBI Bank, and it was agreed that Jill will do a land swapping of equal value or more to IDBI Bank. On 30th March 2016, Jill transferred the land and registered the sale in local revenue records in favor of IDBI Bank. So the matter was over with IDBI Bank. On IDBI Bank issued a no dues certificate, no demand certificate to Jill, rendering the latter debt-free. Interesting now. In June 2016, RBI refused to accept the no demand and called it a floating loan because, as per agreement, Jill had the authority to buy back the swipe land against after 3 years at the then market rate prevailing when the said land may be bought back by Jill. So he is keeping a claim that I will buy it back. So therefore, RBI call it a floating loan. It's not a payment of full and final settlement of a. See, so with this refusal of RBI, RBI instructed IDBI to file NPA against Jill at NCLT Allahabad as per jurisdiction. So there, this case goes to litigation, and IDBI takes it to litigation. Cover it. Now reasons are not known, best known to them. Another case, Axis Bank also had similar claim, but JP offered a building to Axis Bank, and the building now belongs to Axis Bank. So they settled the loan. But why IDBI did not do is still a mystery. I have written already this. After completion of forensic audit, the home buyer said, what is this happening? Look, all this is going on. Who owes whom, and why the land should be a floating loan, and why, what is the court saying? How does common people know about it? Why the common public is interested? Common public is interested because bank's money is their money. So their money, so much simple person, housewife, or maybe a widow. I have some pension fund of my husband. I have invested in the flat. How am I expected to be aware of IBC and get a justice? So the job is of the insolvency professional to give the justice. It is they who have to put together, bring together all the home buyers. I will come. Many of you may have had your lunch and then you could not have a cup of tea to, keep away your inertia. But this is a very interesting case. It'll keep you alert. So the home buyers filed as a glaring case called Chitra Sharma and others. You can Google and see a writ petition in the Supreme Court for getting the justice and getting delivery of their homes, and after so many years. And that is, the hearing was held on 2017, 9th August. By the time this writ was heard, there was already this IDBI Bank had taken Jill as an NPA, so an insolvency professional, interim IRP, was appointed. So as soon as the IRP was appointed, Supreme Court, what it did, it said, okay, these home buyers petitions also, NCLT, you only please hear. Now, this is not like NCLT's job. These are the provisions not made in the code. Why I'm bringing out only what is required to be thought about. I'm not bringing out what is mundane. Listening to home buyers, you know what kind of cases were there? Some home buyers, most of the home buyers, they came that we want justice, we want our delivery. Came, we have received the offer of possession, but our for the agreement. So there are multiple. So this has become actually a consumer court. But what did Supreme Court do? Supreme Court asked NCLT to hear all of them. That further delayed the actual case of IDBI versus Jill for the resolution of the company as a going concern. Therefore, why I'm bringing this, as our president sir also said, that this real estate by itself should have a special provision and a separate provision and a separate kind of, code provision to look into those in a time-bound manner in different forum. You don't need NCLT to hear their this thing. Their committee can be formed by NCLT or Supreme Court, and then they can resolve within themselves. Because here I'm talking about 20,000 people. I will come back to that again. In the middle of 2019, look, 2017, the IRP was appointed, and we are already in 2019. So where is your 330 days? It has no sanctity. Supreme Court took over. Again, all applications, Supreme Court said, you give me back. I will hear, because you are delaying. So NCLT gave back all the applications to Supreme Court, including IDBI versus Jill, including ICICI Bank versus Jill, including home buyers, everything Supreme Court took away. And Supreme Court was starting. So till August 17, from August 17 till 2021, these were shuttling between Supreme Court, NCLT, NCLAT, Committee of Creditors, again going, because every time it wants to go to another court, Committee of Creditors comes into picture. They have to give, a vote, or not a vote, I would say, okay, I want to go to now NCLAT. So what do we do for those? Can we not make the process simpler under IBC? Why cannot Supreme Court or NCLT themselves take a call and ask once for all resolution by only one adjudicating authority or by a committee? 17 to 21 is quite a long time. So did even NCLT or Supreme Court respect the 330 days or any extension or any reasonable extension? No, it did not. While all lending banks were considered as financial creditors, this of course is important, but they were operational creditors. Then there was these petitions and all that. And by virtue of an ordinance, they were, after a lot of fight, In 2018, they were recognized as the financial creditors. So all home buyers in the country today are financial creditors at par with banks. This is one development which has happened because of this case, and all other cases will benefit. Now, in the third week of November 21, you remember Supreme Court had taken back? Now, again, Supreme Court gave everything to NCLT, ping and pong. And they said, you please resolve it in 45 days. Now, let me talk about the resolution plans. First, all the plans were non-compliant. Resolution plan meaning to take over jail and take over the project and to complete. Here it is real estate. There can be other sectors wherever this reconstruction is going on. So these resolution plans, there is a strict advice in the provision that you have to present to NCLT only the fully compliant plans. So first round, many around 13, 14 buyers had come, but all had given non-compliant plan. So what happens? You cannot keep up your time 330 days because again, this is something that we need to take care in IBC. Then second round of voting happened. Second round of applications were called. At that time, around 3 had come, NBCC, Suraksha, and another one. So Committee of Creditors voted NBCC. And why the home buyer? Because Committee of Creditors now also constitute of home buyers. And so they have all voted for NBCC, considering that NBCC is a public sector organization. They will at least not cheat them. They will build the house. But the NBCC plan was also not fully compliant. It was conditional. And instead of, I'll tell you now, here the loophole, all IP professionals, you're listening, you may agree, you may disagree. But NCLT could have simply rejected and shortened the process, this proposal of NBCC. NCLT approved the NBCC proposal with certain modification and condition. So NBCC went to the NCLT and they did not get through what they demanded. So this entire plan was dropped. It took 1 full year. So what's happening? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Code written very good. Practically, there are huge delays. And delays are not intentional, but maybe sometimes it is really some kind of efficiency also. But otherwise, this is a process. The process of going into so many authorities. Then the third round of voting happened. And this time, one company, that is Suraksha, as the selected one by the voters, and the Suraksha plan was presented to NCLT. The Suraksha plan was asked by Supreme Court to finalize within 45 days. Hearings took about 9 months. Hearings on the Suraksha plan took about 9 months. And after 9 months, after multiple hearings, new stakeholders started coming. RERA, then other banks, Yamuna Expressway, everybody started having say, no, this money I have a claim, that money I have a claim, that money I have a claim. So this Suraksha is going on, struggling to accommodate everybody. And NCLT is going on hearing on a daily basis. Daily NCLT Delhi is hearing only this JP case for 9 months. After 9 months, it has reserved its recommendations, its order, and since November 2022, and we are still awaiting. Now, during 2017, Supreme Court had asked JIL to deposit 1,300 crores and Jill deposited 750 crores. This is for the home buyers who said, I don't want any house, you give me my money back. So that was also allowed. But that later in 2019, Supreme Court told, no, you give this money to Jill, let them have it. Not understood. Entire. This is another area is very gray. 750 crore given as a security deposit for those home buyers have been given back to the defaulter, Jill. So Jack and Jill still enjoy. Now there was a dispute between, again, now Jack and Jill both are fighting. They have each other owe 230 crore. And Suraksha came. Suraksha said, I am going to take over Jill. So give me that to Jill so that when I take over Jill, I get the 230 crore to build the houses. So there are too many twists and turns. Now you tell me 30 days should be extended. No. All I'm saying, for the real estate sector, there should be a different mechanism of resolution. And it cannot be uniform for all other companies. Because we are taking away other companies' time in the sense that we are taking away NCLT's time resolving those. Now, this is interesting. Many of you may not like, but it's glaring. IP professionals, what you're not supposed to do. IRP here did a glaring mistake. He distributed the units as and when they were building, because it was going as a going concern. No, after IRP was appointed, Jill was a going concern. They started distributing, giving the units of possessions, but he didn't do it any prudent structural engineer will tell me, or architect will tell me this. But what he did, he gave 10th floor now and first floor 2 months later each other where they all reside. If somebody is in Noida, somebody is in Kolkata, somebody is in Chennai, somebody is in US, somebody is in Kolkata, somebody is in Chennai, somebody is in US, somebody is in Berlin. Because it is 13 years since they booked. Their children may have shifted. And you know, many of them have died waiting for their dream homes. And IRP did what? IRP gave a preferential treatment in allotment of these flats. Therefore, in already ongoing litigations, more litigations were added by home buyers who would have otherwise not gone into, taken IRP's advice and would have gone by it. Going on, therefore they admitted heavily on that particular IRP in all the hearings. So if any IRP is hearing me, please be fair. Not only our profession says us to be fair, but also NCLT is not going to. NCLT threatened. If I really, as I have already explained to you, these applications were given. And this IRP, not only he selectively gave the, possession, he also selectively gave delay compensation. In the same towers, 300 have say, or 200 have got the delay compensation. Some 30 have not got. Now there comes your professional knowledge. I was in the hearing. CLT said, since NBCC plan failed, it was back to its own, was there as if no plan had been approved. Because NBCC was approved with a condition giving delay compensation to everybody. There again, NCLT has come very heavily on the IRP. So IRPs, be very careful while you're doing a wonderful job. I know many of my IRP friends, they are doing wonderful jobs and they have really resolved a lot of cases. Through. These are the real observations. Home buyers being largest financial contributors in this project, they are still suffering miserably. The two home buyers were not. The loss as financial creditors till 2000 projects which went into IBC, how much they suffered. The law may not have envisaged the huge real estate industry to be included, is my opinion. They may not have envisaged that even real estate companies would come. We need IBBI. Big question. Big question. Supreme Court, and there is tremendous misery of the innocent home buyers. All now, despite being scolded by NCLT during pleadings of home buyers, case of being unfair, is still sending reminders to give upfront money to take their house as possession, and he's not adjusting what is owed. I'll give an example. He has given you in writing in your offer of possession that Jill owes you, say Mr. Chattopadhyay, he is the home buyer. Jill owes you 27 lakhs. To complete the balance work, you please pay me 13 lakhs. So what is prudent accounting? You pay me 27 minus 13 lakhs, you pay me and you register. But where is the deterrence? Where is the fear of NCLT? Is a question. There's no fear of IBB. There's no fear of NCLT. Line. I think BIFR terror was, that is why justified. Today, there's no fear. And these 20,000 home buyers, they can't put together themselves because they don't know who they are. After 5 years, you don't know your neighbors in metros. And here, who have booked 13 years ago, how do you know? You don't know. So, this others are eagerly waiting for the judgment, favor from NCLT, and answering, they said it is an unique industry. I said it needs to be seen separately under the IBC. IRP in this case has not come to treatment to disputed employees is not considered under the provision. See, the provision of this home buyer under IBC says either you have got your offer of position. So people who have not got their offer of position, the new company will provide you. But what about the disputed offer of positions? People who have got but are disputing. That is not there in IBC under this. And then extraordinary long time to hear I have seen, yes, because very complicated. As I already said, should we overburden the NCLT with this? And I have already told some have even left the world. So probably home buyers have left their faith in justice. In efficacy, if you say, in the real estate sector, it has not been a success so far, I would say. These are all facts. You're aware. You can go through. These are some data. How many days? Of course, it is better than what was during BIFR time or what was during before this code. It is definitely better. For many sectors, it is in 330 days, at least in 400 days or 500 days or 550 days, you have received a resolution. Therefore, the efficacy is well established. But we should be concerned of where efficacy is not established. That is why I come before you today. 2016, when this law was introduced. And most percent, which according to me is because the larger cases are very small. Number of larger cases resolved are small. Smaller cases resolved are much big. Therefore, 25% in general speaking, they had added that may not be the correct thing. Home buyers are the only losers in this case, the true unfortunate, and that too they have lost their life savings also. The enormous delay, and mind you, in this township, majority of the home buyers are salaried people. Almost all of them had bought for their own dwelling. They are paying huge rents in a city like Delhi over past 10 years. So, misery. So, role of IRP commands huge integrity and commitment while they are extremely well compensated CMS. CMS have a great opportunity to go for MA. We are the group of honest people, honest professionals, and we probably have learned everything is honesty because our examination itself is so tough. Unless we were honest, we could not have cleared it. I would put in honesty a step higher. The way I'm also legally qualified, so I take the onus while saying this. But the CMS would do better IPs, according to me. Lawyers are the total gainers in this case. IRPs, I would say, in this case, I will tell you, in this case, over about between 40 to 45 lakhs per month they are getting, the IRP is getting. So you can imagine the amount, quantum for doing this injustice, for getting 2000 days delay. Take away the credit of the IRP for whatever process he must have done. That's his job and for which he's getting paid. But where is the justice? Of different litigation within the litigation, they are getting hugely paid. All these companies have lawyers, senior advocates, and every hearing, imagine 9 months hearing only now. And previously there used to be 1 year hearing. So that is kind of a thing. Sadly, some of the home buyers have left their world waiting for the dream home, and which must arouse a humanitarian. There are some more conclusions. Existing framework of insolvency and bankruptcy is not only inadequate and ineffective, but has resulted in undue delays in resolution, and especially in the real estate, leading to higher economic because it was envisaged to get more entrepreneurship and ease of business, but I think the cases like this will bring fear in the minds of corporates if they go through the entire resolution process. Having said that, this is not true in all cases, and but as I said, what is good, we need not tom-tom. What is not so good, we need to concentrate. Many position to influence the lawmakers. Many of you know the big people in the ministry and everything. You may please take care of these kind of things, because when it comes to a small to small person in the society, unless the benefits trickle down to him or her, the complete efficacy cannot be established. See, this is important. The objective of enacting the IBC was inter alia avoidance of multiplicity of fora and a timely resolution. Where is the multiplicity of fora avoidance here? Here there are so many. Supreme Court, NCLT, NCLAT, Committee of Creditors, again Supreme Court, again NCLT.